Ahead on Early Birds, it got fun late in the Falcons preseason opener. You'll hear from the team. Plus, we'll go one-on-one with the most interesting man in Flowery Branch. We've got AK's big play and a big man with a big heart. That and more ahead on Early Birds.
Grab a cup of your favorite Joe and let's talk Falcons football on Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Good morning and welcome to Early Birds. We got D.J. Shockley apparently on the Fox 5 Mega Jet on the way down to Miami. I'm Justin Felder. Let's kick things off with the opening drive. And the Falcons beat the Dolphins in the preseason opener 19-3 last night, led by the defense. How about that? 5 sacks, 4 takeaways, and a touchdown. Shock, what got into these guys?
It's the new look Falcons defense with Ryan Nielsen. He talked about getting sacks. He talked about being aggressive after the quarterbacks. He did such a great job of getting these guys coached up. And these are the second and third stringers. You love the fact these guys got after them. And then when they did, they forced turnovers. Big time game for the defense. And if this is anything to come for the Ryan Nielsen decent, I am looking forward to it.
One of his new draft picks, DeMarco Hellams out of Alabama, 7th round pick. He had a pick himself. Here's what he had to say after the game.
Once again, it's just a part of Coach Nielsen's, mindset for us, his game plan for us. Our mindset as a defense is, to come out and be attacking aggressive, all 4 quarters, all 4 downs. And, it doesn't matter how far they get towards the end zone, they still have to get there.
Tell you what, on offense wasn't so bad either as we continued the opening drive. It was the Logan Woodside show. Shock. He played the entire game at quarterback. Big decision for Terry Fontenot. Do they want to keep a third quarterback on the roster? Woodside made a case, 14 for 23 passing, a couple drops, and could have had even better numbers. Shock, what do you see?
I'm with you. I thought he was impressive. I thought he's making it hard on the Falcons to say, okay, do we keep him, not keep him? Is he the third string guy? But I thought he was solid. He was effective. I thought he was pretty accurate, even though those numbers don't say it. Like you mentioned, a couple drop balls, could be an even better day. But Logan Woodside, I think, made a great case to be that third guy and put a lot of pressure on the Falcons brass to say this guy needs to stay around.
And you saw he led a scoring drive. That's what you want to do, put points on the board. We heard from Woodside after the game.
It was some of the most fun I've ever had my entire life, just being out there with the guys, put in a lot of work through training camp so far, and to go out there and to see it come to fruition a little bit was awesome. It all starts with the run game, and we ran the football really good tonight, and that opened up some things in the play-pass game and keeper game. And I think just the confidence that Coach Hart and Coach Ragone have instilled in me since I've gotten here has been incredible.
And as we wrap up the opening drive, well, the starters, Shock, they sat out, except for you. You were there. But otherwise, hey, you know what? Nobody got hurt, but you also miss out on some experience for guys like Desmond Ridder. So, DJ, I know you talked to Arthur Smith about this decision. What do you make of it?
You know what, I thought it was fine. I know a lot of people want to see Desmond Ridder. They want to see this young offense get going. But I thought he saw a lot in the first 2 practices down here in Miami that sold him on, hey, we are good. I saw these guys compete against some of the best, and we didn't need him to play in this first preseason game. He's going to get plenty in that next one, so get ready, Falcons fans. All the starters, all the Desmond Ridder you want, you'll see him next week when he plays in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we wanted to see the starters, but you know what? They put on a show, that 4th quarter last night. Very exciting. Well, welcome into Early Birds. Another season of Early Birds. Shock, good to be back here with you. You're in Miami. You'll be here next week. I'm Justin Felder. And DJ, you were on the call of the game last night. So what's another one of your big takeaways?
You know what, I was just really impressed offensively with not having the pre-snap penalties for a group that's the second, third, fourth string guys. You usually see a lot of chaos. You see a lot of things happen pre-snap that set you behind a change. I thought he did a really good job of staying on track. And then the quarterback in Logan Woodside we just talked about was the catalyst for it. He was the captain. So you love to see that, and you love to see him get after everybody on the defense side.
You certainly do. And Shock, I got to say, it's going down. I'm yelling film room. Oh, okay, no laugh. We're a little delayed. There it is. I appreciate it. Man, Pitbull.
I got you. I got you.
Hey, you're in Miami. How to break it out. We'll see you breaking down plays in just a few. But first, he might be the most interesting man in football. He doesn't wear shoes. He doesn't use utensils. His dad had a pet lion. Mac Hollins has a million stories and could catch a lot of passes for the Falcons this year. Our Kelly Price talked to him one-on-one this past week down in Miami.
You were here a couple of years ago as a Dolphin. What's it like to be back here?
It's good. It's good to see familiar faces on the other side of the ball. But it's football at the end of the day. So another chance to compete, another chance to put good things on tape, learn from things on tape, so it was fun.
I saw you kind of talking trash a little bit out here. Give you a little more juice coming back here to Miami.
No more juice than I already had. They knew what it was when I was coming down. I got my FaceTimes and all that. I said, if you just don't bother me, I won't say anything.
So coming out here, joint practices, what do you guys hope to get out of that as an offense?
The biggest thing is to be able to compete against somebody else. You know, there's always a sense of restraint when you go against your own teammates. And then you see the same thing over and over and over again. It gets kind of monotonous. So being able to see a new defense, new players, new schemes, new offense for the defense guys, new special team schemes, it's a great learning experience. And you also get to control the whole thing. So it's not like a game. You can control the whole practice. Are we doing 2-minute? Are we doing red zone? Are we doing first, second down? Whatever we may be doing, you can control it, but also be able to go against other teams.
So entering week 3 here with camp, what's the biggest area of growth that you've seen from this team so far?
I think understanding Art's vision of what he wants us to be, understanding why each piece is the way it is, and kind of seeing the overall puzzle coming together, which is usually what happens around this time in camp. You know, the first week guys are learning, second week guys are starting to absorb, and then the third week you start to apply the stuff. So it's been nice to see that, and we have plenty of time to grow, but the season is upon us, so definitely a little sense of urgency.
It's time to get some game intel from Shock. You're invited into the film room, so cut the lights and let's get started.
Now you talk about all the things you wanted to see up front from the offense. Was it, hey, could they drive the football? Could they throw it? Could they move guys? It was important to have that kind of function up front, and I thought they did that. They ran hard, they ran physical, they changed the line of scrimmage. They got a lot of guys who can move people up front. And let's talk about that first touchdown drive that was in this ball game, and it was a pretty one. You talk about inside zone. Now, this is fun because this is what the Falcons love to do. They play to the inside zone, and this was a good run by Godwin Ikwebeke, but even better by the offensive lineman. Left guard Kyle Hinton does a good job of flushing his guy down. You get a seal by the right tackle, and there's a huge gaping hole for the touchdown for Godwin. Now, this is very critical because he has to know where he cuts, where he comes in, where he comes out, but each guy has to do their particular job on that offensive line for this to work. If not, guess what? It's probably a 2-3 yard gain, but because they continue to wash it down, the guys on the outside do a good job of sealing the backside. If you don't seal the backside, guess what? That cut back is not there. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this preseason, and this offensive line did exactly what I wanted to last night. Move guys, and then also did a great job of getting into the zone. Hard, physical, tough running by their running backs, but even better by the offensive line. And I love when the big guys create these huge holes up front. Looking forward to seeing more of this preseason with the backs running hard and the offensive linemen moving space.
All right, Shock, thanks very much. And we saw a lot of those young running backs making noise. It was something DJ was talking about on the pregame show and all week leading up. Could any of those running backs push for an extra roster spot or practice squad? A lot of other teams watching as well. Falcons, great running back room, really impressive. Shock, thanks so much. More to come on Early Birds. Michael Jenkins tries to make sense of conference realignment. Plus,
everything was just all over the place, and it took me a minute to actually realize I just had a sack in the NFL.
AK gives us a scoop on his NFL first. That's ahead on Early Birds.
Hey Falcons fans, score a touchdown with low tire prices at Mavis Tires and Brakes, the official tire retailer of the Atlanta Falcons. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you. You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Best, nothing. And sponsored by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. Truest, when you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. And the Home Depot, how doers get more done. More Early Birds coming back at you. Early Birds, listen up. It's not Saturday without some college football talk. Brought to you by Zaxby's. Indescribably good chicken fingers and wings. Here's Justin Felder.
And we are so happy to be back for another season with former Falcons and Ohio State wide receiver Michael Jenkins. And Jank, how was your offseason? And since we're talking college football, has DJ cooled down on the trash talk after last year?
No, he's already talking about three-peat. I mean, it hasn't even got started yet. So, but my offseason has been great so far.
We're thrilled to have you back. I'll talk to DJ when he gets back to Miami. We're 3 weeks away or so from the opening of the college football season. Your Buckeyes could certainly be making noise again, but you mentioned three-peat, so we got to start talking this Saturday about those Georgia Bulldogs. And Jank, Georgia will kick off their season in 3 weeks. They got UT Martin. So what do they need to be thinking about? Two-time defending national champions. What should be on their mind as they deal with big expectations again?
They kind of have a lot going on. I mean, you got new starter at quarterback, possibly Carson Beck, taking over the reins. And then, your offensive coordinator leaves with Todd Monken. Defense, can they repeat that same high level of intensity and play that they've had over the last 2 seasons? So there's a lot of question marks that they want to get answered as well to start the season.
And how much is Kirby Smart learning about his team right now? You see the video at camp. Kirby loves this. How much is he learning about who's going to be the leader?
I think he's learning a lot right now during training camp, finding out who's willing to push through these tough times, who's willing to step up and be that next guy to be that leader on offense and defense.
And it sounds like for Kirby Smart, his favorite seasons are recruiting season and the preseason.
I love camp. Camp's a new beginning, new team. I mean, there's no distractions. School hasn't started yet, and our guys are kind of confined to a space where they don't get to leave that space. So you get to bond, man. You get to connect. You get in that grind of getting up in the morning, smelling that dew on the grass, and you get the itch back.
All right, we'll get your official predictions, Jank, on a later edition of Early Birds, but I know you're going to pick the Buckeyes.
Of course.
Is Georgia a title favorite again?
Oh, of course. I mean, a lot of people say they have an easier schedule this year. I know it's yet to be played, but you expect to see them at least in the college football playoffs again.
So they're trying to stay at the top. Georgia Tech, meanwhile, is trying to get on the right track to maybe join them there one day. The big news coming out of the Flats is it's going to be a new name for the stadium. It's Bobby Dodd Stadium at Hyundai Field. No more Grant Field. We got new head coach Brent Key, who was interim last year, and they finished strong last year. Jank, what's at the top of the new coach's to-do list?
First of all, I love that they kept Coach Key, former Tech guy, been in the program, done a great job there. And now it's just Coach Key and that team finding their identity, finding how they want to play, what style of offense, what style of defense, and just being consistent, and trying to get those wins that they're looking for.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there, because we asked the new coach, the new full-time coach, what his priorities are, and here's what he had to say.
Really, our number one goal for this camp is to establish our identity, establish who we are as a football team. And that's what we've got to come out of this camp with, is a true identity, what we hang our hat on, not play-wise, not scheme-wise, but really just a mentality as a football team.
Tech opens the year against Louisville, so how do you do that? Is it tough practices? Is it what you tell the team in meetings?
It's all the above. It's that day-by-day grind, just laying those constant bricks of winning performances every day and coming out the first game, hopefully getting a win.
Last thing I want to talk to you about, Cenk, this is what I really want to talk to you about as an Ohio State guy. It's the conference realignment. How excited are you to see your Buckeyes face Big Ten rival Washington? Like, what's going on in this, man? It's crazy right now. You see Oregon here. What's going on?
It's insane what's going on in college football right now. And you love to see it. You love to see top-tier teams obviously coming in and joining and aligning. But it's really cool. I got the chance to play against UCLA UCLA my sophomore year, and I really enjoyed it. So hopefully you can see these traditions start to grow in these West Coast schools, playing Big Ten schools, and having a great time and great competition. So I'm looking forward to it.
I like that you see the silver lining. I'm a little worried. What are the other sports going to do? It's one thing for football flying across the country. They're going to have to find a solution for every other sport, right?
Yeah, they really are. I mean, it's tough for Oregon women's soccer to come and play over at Maryland during a Wednesday or Thursday during the middle of the week. So they still got some things to iron out.
They got time to figure it out. We got a whole football season ahead with Michael Jenkins. We appreciate your time. And DJ, it looks like you found a new location in Miami. Having a little fun out on the beach. We'll send it over to you.
Yeah, I thought you guys would like to see this view a lot better, so I decided to move with the beach behind me, which is pretty cool, of course. But now it's time to talk about going deep. And this season, we asked some of the players to take us behind the scenes of some of the biggest plays of last year. And one guy who is expected to have a big part of the Falcons defense is Arnold Ebiketie. And he kind of took us behind the scenes of one of his biggest plays of the 2022 season. And that is our subject of this week's Going Deep.
Favorite play. Let me think. Let me rewind my mind back to last year. I would say, I think my first sack, just because, I mean, everything was just all over the place, and it took me a minute to actually realize I just had a sack in the NFL.
Winston moving to his right, wrapped up, and he is sacked again for the second time on this drive. It's the rookie out of Penn State.
We actually got a play called late that play, so everybody was kind of all over the place. I think it was just a straight rush. Every time once you get close to the quarterback, you tell yourself in the back of your mind, please don't throw it up right there, kind of. And to be able to make that play, and the crowd was going crazy first game of the season, and it's like that little couple seconds in your head where you just go numb, everything just all over the place, and it's an exciting feeling.
That's great stuff from AK. Well, off the edge and into the heat in this week's Road to Recovery, we'll hear how the Falcons safely manage high temps through training camp.
You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz, on your official home for Falcons football, Fox 5 Atlanta.
Well, the Falcons relocated training camp practices this past week from steamy Flowery Branch to sizzling hot Miami. Heat is a concern for athletes at any level, especially this time of year, especially in our part of the country. Good reminder for our high school athletes over the next few weeks. And that is the focus of this week's Emory Road to Recovery.
The heat, the humidity, I mean, you can't get away from it in the South, of course. And so, we're constantly monitoring what the actual temperature is, what the heat index is, the humidity levels. And so we're monitoring these things. We make adjustments in practice time sometimes, and that comes from coaching staff. And they're really aware of that as well. And everybody has to have a buy-in to kind of take care of the athletes in that regard. But, we have obviously hydration. We have IV usage if we need IV usage for additional hydration, pre, post, during. There are breaks that are put into the place during the practice sessions to make sure they're hydrating and having appropriate breaks. And then we have our training staff who are adeptly trained and aware of signs or of any kind of heat illness that may be coming on for an athlete or for a player, ready to intervene, ready to act, ready to pull that player out if we need to, and everybody's on top of that.
Still to come, it's never too early for this new Falcons player to start giving back to his community. That story is next on Early Birds.
Early Birds has been presented to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Falcons fans, score a touchdown with low tire prices at Mavis Tires and Brakes, the official tire retailer of the Atlanta Falcons. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you.
All right, in this week's Falcons Give Back, we focus on one of the newest members of the team who wasted no time diving into his new community. Calais Campbell visited Children's Healthcare of Atlanta at Eggleston back in June. He visited kids in their rooms, he handed out goodies, he posed for pictures, and shock, no surprise, but we love to see that.
Absolutely. It is always a pleasure when the guys get back because we are more than just a helmet and shirt. We are more than that. We are people too. So glad to see Calais giving back already and showing that he's a man of the community.
You see the smiles. Campbell, former Walter Payton Man of the Year winner, so no surprise he's focused on his new city. We've got more Falcons coverage here on Fox 5 tomorrow night. Join Shock, Jenk, and myself on the Dirty Bird Report. We will break down everything from the Falcons preseason opener against the Dolphins and look forward to what DJ and Jenk want to see in the rest of the preseason. And Shock, before we go, let's talk about what's moving forward. Falcons back in Flowery Branch this week, off the beach in Miami. Does anything change through the remainder of practices leading up to the rest of the games?
No, I don't think much changes. I think you're more focused on getting ready and getting better. So I think you continue that kind of mindset. And then, hey, you're getting closer to the season. So that means guys have to be ready and prepared to go because guess what? Cut time is coming and it's going to get serious.
Cut time coming, 2 more games, and we'll be with you here on Fox 5 the whole way. Well, that's it for all of us here on Early Birds. For DJ Shockley, braving the beach for us. Thanks, DJ, for taking one for the team. I'm Justin Felder. We appreciate you. Have a good morning and a great weekend.